So the Anfield Wrap have reported that Conor Bradley has been back training since Wednesday. That would be a brilliant boost. I mean, I didn't put him in my predicted 11 that I've done for the Everton game, but if he is fit, or even if he's fit to come on, let's say, for the last 30 and start building up from there, then the interesting conversation starts. Because what happens when Trent's back? This is something I think we're going to be discussing a lot over the next few weeks. So let's say Trent's a couple of games away from coming back. And let's say, just for argument's sake, that we beat Everton and we beat Fulham. And we're then 3 wins away from winning the Premier League. What do you do with Trent? I'm going to be honest and say, not playing him. Genuinely, I would look at it and think, well, what's the benefit to me of playing Trent here? The benefit of playing Bradley is obvious. Give him more minutes, give players more time to get used to him, and it wouldn't be in my interest to help Real Madrid by preparing Trent. And I know that sounds a little bit shitty, but I've always told you I'm a shithouse, and this is how I'd look at it. Because I how do I say this? I don't think we need Trent to win the league at this point, because I think that job is done. It's just a matter of when we get over the line. So I'm benching him, but I want to put that to the chat. I'm going to put the first poll of the night as that. So 1 second. So I'm going to phrase it a bit differently. I'm going to say, if Conor and Trent are both fit, what do you do? So what I've said is, you play Conor, you play Trent, or you use both. So vote away on that. And I didn't want to say drop anyone, because I don't like going into negatives on that. But if Conor and Trent are both fit, what do you do? Play Conor, play Trent, or rotate between them both? Anthony said, no point in coaching a player who's off. That's kind of exactly my thinking, mate. Like, in these situations, I think you need to be selfish as a club. So the benefits of not playing Trent for the remainder of the season, to me, far outweigh the negatives. If we're at a point where the league's sewn up, might as well give Bradley the repetition. Might as well give Bradley the minutes with the players on the pitch to get those understandings and those relationships formed ahead of next season. That's the way I'd look at it as a manager. That's the way I look at it as a fan. Chris Shaw said, I agree. If Trent's gone, we need to see if Bradley is up to the task with a series of games. Let Bradley tie a bow on his league title. Exactly. It doesn't have to be, well, screw Trent. You know, you don't have to look at it from that angle. But if you look at it to say, like you've said there, mate, you know, let's give the repetition on the minutes to a player who we need to evaluate, I think that makes a lot more sense. You're all going to call me crazy, but Trent's staying. Don't ask me why. I just think if it's going to happen to Madrid, it would be signed and announced by now. Happy to stick my neck on the line. Do you know what, Cal? I think we're both wrong, but I can understand why you're saying what you're saying. I've looked at the situation over the last few days myself and wondered, is he starting to have doubts? A couple of things have put it in my head. So one, you've got the picture of him with Mohamed Salah and all at his gaff. Then you've got the Melissa Reddy piece that said that both Trent and Madrid were surprised at the breaking of the news this week because nothing has changed there. Maybe there is a last change of heart, but there's also been a lot to say that that money that was going to be offered to Trent is now going to be utilised with Virgil and Mo. So yeah, I'm probably still very, very much on the side of him leaving. I wouldn't be angry if he changed his mind to stay. Enough very credible journalists believe 100% that he's off to Madrid, so I think if he weren't going to Madrid, we'd know about it at this point. A. Michael said, hi Craig, as a professional contracted player getting paid by his club, a player must fulfil his obligation to be to the very end of the contract giving his all. Trent should give his all before he bows out. No, I never 1 second, Michael, said I don't think he would give his all. For me though, look at it two ways, right? If you're him or any player and you know that you've got a big move and you've got a Club World Cup now with Trent as well, so you know this is coming up in June/July, you know you've got a big move there, are you going to run through a brick wall? Are you going to go in for those 50-50 tackles? Are you going to play with a niggle? Are you going to play if you feel a little niggle in your thigh? No, you're not. And again, this comes down to not a disrespecting thing to Trent, but to human nature. You're not going to put that at jeopardy. You're not going to put that next stage of your career in. So if you couple that with what we said about Conor Bradley and us needing to see what he's about and the relationships and the minutes and all, I'm absolutely adamant the right thing to do would be not to use Trent unless you want to bring him on as an impact sub or something like that. But I wouldn't ever say a player would be unprofessional, but they are human. And we've seen many times that players who know their futures are elsewhere, even if they're on loan for us. I mean, look at Georgi Marmadashvili. Look at Divock Origi when we signed him before he came. It's not uncommon for players' form to dip a lot when they know they have a big move in the works. So that's why I would always say I'd stick with trust in human nature and knowing that I don't think he'd give it all. He'll say he will, but again, in those moments where you could be putting your body on the line here and facing a crunching tackle, I just don't see it. I think humans are inherently selfish. Anthony said the club could just say that injury ruled him out for the rest of the season. I also don't understand the protecting here. Again, come to me being a shithouse, but if Trent doesn't want to be here and decides his future is elsewhere, I don't really know why we protect him or why we feel the need to protect him. You know, he didn't protect the club when all this crap was coming out and Liverpool were being rinsed and Madrid-centric journalists and fans were all over the internet saying Liverpool are wasting their time, and we see stuff about Trent immediately agreeing to what Madrid said about running down his deal and taking the deal that they offer him. You know, where's the protection to Liverpool in that scenario? Because all we got was I'm not going to deal with my stuff in public, but that's a shithouse thing to do. You know, you can say it's professional, but is it professional to watch the club you profess to love being rinsed out there in the media and sit back and give it this shit for no reason? I would argue no. Do you think the friendship with Bellingham did sway Trent's decision to go to Madrid? Yeah. I'm not saying it was the be-all and end-all, but, you know, again, looking at human nature, if any of us were to go to a new job and we knew some friendly faces there, as an example, it certainly makes the prospect of the move or change a little bit less daunting. So I definitely feel like it would have played a role in it, but I don't know how much of a role. Let's talk right back for a minute, because there was a piece coming out of Romania that said Liverpool have entered the race for Rayo Vallecano right back Andrei Ratiu, spelled R-A-T-I-U. He's 26 years of age. He's a Romanian international, I believe. He's got a £20 million release clause. And Rayo Vallecano, according to this piece, quickly told Liverpool that if they want to sign him, they'll need to pay his full clause. And that comes from Pro Sport, who are a Romanian outlet, and credit LFC Transfer Room for that initial post as well. I don't know anything about this guy, but I know Iriola's Rayo Vallecano were a fun watch. And I can understand us also being linked with maybe a 26-year-old right back if the club have the faith in Bradley that we think they do. If you have a steady head there to guide him through and somebody who you feel comfortable bringing in if Bradley's injured, I can understand that as well. But I haven't seen much of him. So anybody who knows anything about this dude, please do let me know in the comments. Right, let's end this poll. We asked, if Connor and Trent are both fit, what do you do? And 64% of the people that voted said you play Connor. I was going to say Crosby. You don't play Connor Crosby at right back. And by the way, Connor did complete the half marathon today and in a personal best time as well. So massive congratulations to Connor for that one. We will be putting up the link again to try and help raise money for Parkinson's Ireland. But Connor did complete the Dublin City half marathon today, even with a dodgy tummy as well. So congratulations to Connor on that one. Knocking 10 minutes off his personal best as well. Proud of him. So yeah, the poll result was play Connor, 63%. Use both of them, 21%, and 14% of people said carry on and play Trent. So you can see most of the people that voted in that poll there want Bradley to get the remainder of the games this season. Flip-Flop said, do you think we'll miss some creativity without Trent? Yes and no. There's no denying Trent's eye for a pass and his eye for a ball. But so can Virgil, so can Canade. I mean, I've been paying particular attention to that over the last few months. And for all the balls Trent plays, you've seen Virgil and Canade start to play some very similar ones. So, yeah, you're going to miss some creativity there, but it depends what we want from our right back. And for me, yeah, it's good if he can create going forward, but ultimately, you want a right back who can defend. And Trent can defend, and he has got better this season under Arne Slot. But what we're going to lose when he leaves, I think is a difficult question to answer, because it depends how we start to create our chances then. So there's been times this season where, and particular over the last week for the international break, I got a bit of a pain in my arse with these long balls into the channels for nobody. You know, we were pumping up long balls to Diogo Jota, who was losing them all, and we weren't winning second balls. So sometimes I feel like that's been a cop-out as well. And I'd like to see us progress with the ball a little bit better through the lines.